I am sorry for the noise coming from Jiaoqiu Sims. Before they appear once again, let's begin our guide. Jiaoqiu works as a sub-DPS to his very most. Jiaoqiu is a 5-star fire nihility. He is a debuffer. Ashen Roast is his friend. His basic attack simply deals fire damage. His skill applies Ashen Roast. His ultimate activates field in which enemies are bunked more by character's ult, and the enemies also get Ashen Roast stack when they take a turn. His talent allows any of his action to inflict Ashen that let enemies get increased damage, and that is sackable. His technique also applies stack of Roast. One of his ascension reduce enemies' effect hit rate. His second ascension gives him attack based on his effect hit rate. His last ascension trace is again Ashen Roast, Ashen Roast, Ashen Roast. As for Jiaoqiu traces, his ultimate is perhaps the most main priority. Coming next is his talent. After this his skill, whereas his basic attack talent can be left not bothered anyways. His main ascension would be the second one, as it converts effect hit rate into attack. Then his last ascension would be second important for Ashen stuff. The last position goes to his first ascension. It is still advised to unlock all his ascension. You should how it understood. As for his main stats priority, he wants speed boots for Ashen Roast inflict as well as smooth combat cycles. For the sphere he needs fire damage bonus or attack would also be fine. For his link rope, it is suggested to use energy generation so more ultimate time. However, attack or any other sphere can be used, but nothing more can be said on that. For his body, he needs effect hit rate so that he can complete his second ascension demand to get more attack. The maximum effect hit rate to achieve would be 1 for O. For substats, it is recommended to get effect hit rate the most and then the speed and attack, if you want to build him crit. Although this is not advised, then you shall use attack link and try getting crit damage in substats. There aren't many relic options for Jiaoqiu. He can use 2-piece musketeer and 2-piece hacker, or he can use 2-piece debuff set. He can perhaps make use of quantum set, but it has to be 4-piece. For ornaments, his top choice is IPC effect hit rate ornaments, as it also supports his effect hit rate need. He can also use glamour set or space station, but not much suggested. For Jiaoqiu light cones, his signature is of course the best for him. It gives him a lot of effect hit rate, as well as other benefits that further increases his damage. For his alternative, Black Swan light cone is an option, as it also gives the same amount of effect hit rate and other perks. World light cone is mentioned here because it gives effect hit rate and some damage bonus to him. Silver Wolf light cone is not much suggested, and only mentioned here because it gives effect hit rate. Moving on to the 4-star light cone choices. Good Night Sleep Well is recommended, as it gives damage increase based on rebuff. Jiaoqiu can also use Luca light cone that reduces enemy defense, which is further support. Sampo and 1.1 light cone is only mentioned because it gives effect hit rate. There are also some other options for Jiaoqiu that can be used, but may not be very valuable. We all know that one most popular team of Jiaoqiu, and it obviously is the Acheron team. This team consists of Acheron, Jiaoqiu, sub/support, and support/sustain. Another team is the Ratio Hyper Carry, which consists of Dr. Ratio, Jiaoqiu, sub/support, and support/sustain. Another team would be Damage Over Time, but this team can only work well if you have Jiaoqiu's second Eidolon that acts like burn. This team consists of Kafka, Jiaoqiu, sub-DPS/support, and support/sustain. Since Jiaoqiu is a debugger, you can make a lot of teams with him, and that he can have several allies. The allies include Argenti, Yuli, Shui, Silver Wolf, Misha, Gallagher, and many more. This foxing going to be quite useful.
Let's move on to the Eidolon section, but before moving on, would you mind subscribing my channel? More than 95% of my viewers aren't subscribed, which is sad for me. Subscribing would allow me to improve my work, as well as help me make more content in the future.
His first Eidolon mentions that when any ally attack the enemy afflicted with Ashen Roast, increased damage dealt by 48%. It also mentions of an additional Ashen stack when the talent is triggered. His second Eidolon makes Ashen considered as burn damage over time, which is dealt to enemy on their turns. His third and fifth are traces, whereas his fourth trace reduces enemy's attack by 15. His sixth Eidolon is pretty interesting. The Ashen stacks of dead would be passed to an alive enemy, who should also be the least Ashen haver among other enemies. Beside this, now the maximum stacks of Ashen can be 9%. Each stack would now also reduce enemies' resistance by 3%. In my opinion, his first Eidolon is pretty nice boost. His second Eidolon can be pulled if you are much obsessed with dot, which is damage over time, or you simply want more damage. His sixth Eidolon is pretty great, but it is specifically reserved for the Sims. Reminder that this guide was made during his version 1 and isn't the final product. Future changes may come in future that may make me update it. To know about future changes about this character and his final product, make sure to sub so you remain notified by